Yo, oh my god. How good does the green screen look? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, what? Am I in the diary room? What's going on here? It's a little bit sketchy over there, but, it's pretty good. I would say, when you go at the live scene, this looks pretty perfect. What I could do is this. Thank you to Christy and Mammoth. I appreciate you. Thank you, Simply Angle 86. I can't believe you made me stop watching America's podcast. We're going to have a lot of call to actions today. Are you going to have Patreon content this week? Yeah. We've been slacking a little bit, as I think you guys could probably understand. We've been very busy with this. But podcast tomorrow, or today, rather, as per usual. We're going to have the BB7 rewatch. We already watched episode 1 of the third week. And we've got the other thing. What's the other thing? Why can't I think of it? Help me out. Stavi, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate it. Book club on Sunday, of course. Why can't I see the top of the green screen? Y'all are such bitches. No, I'm kidding. Game Room came out yesterday. Yeah, with Cedric. It's so funny talking to Cedric versus talking like Bowie and Felicia. Because you can, hear the differing levels of hesitancy about what you're allowed to say. The truth is, we're all allowed to say the same stuff, but it doesn't feel that way. And I think Cedric's smart because of it, because, he didn't get his money yet. But, it's very funny. We are going to play Mario Kart. I think we'll do that today because America's been very stressed, as you can imagine. I like Angela, I really do, but she needs to go. She's been playing a lot better, and the comp wins are huge for her because she has to figure out how to make a case. For her, it's she gets to focus so much more on the win equity piece of it than the getting to the end, which everyone else has to do the opposite. Usually it's how do I get to the end, and then you have to make your case. For her, it's I'm probably going to make it to the end. Let's start building my case now. I think you'll see in my player rankings, I'm a bit skeptical still, but, Thank you, Kelly, for the 8 months. I appreciate you. She's dodged, 4 bullets off the chopping block? Look, I do not think surviving the block due to no work of your own helps your resume. I don't. I think it hurts your resume. I would not have given Felicia an ounce of credit for surviving the block 6 times. Or 8 times, whatever the number was. I really wouldn't. I would mark it as a penalty on her game. Thank you, Tilly Dog. I appreciate it. Taylor, I would give her a bit more credit for that because she had more to do with saving herself in moments. All right, what is this? What is this tweet? All right, Katie, you got me. What do we got? If T-Court leaves this week, there are a lot of parallels going on here. I don't think so. Okay, here I agree insofar as they seem like they're in a really winning good position, play too passively, and it slips away. But we could not be more different from game players, as game players. You know what I mean? Flipped on majority, pre-jury alliance, didn't maintain control of the power structure after the flip. Here's what I'll say. T-Core didn't try to control the power structure, and T-Core's flip was so much worse than mine. Does that sound about right? T-Core flipping on Cedric was correct. Okay, so let me restate what I was saying. The flip on Cedric was great for her. Absolutely great. Put her in a great position. The getting rid of Tucker on her HOH, she doesn't get enough shit for. That was the blunder. Chemo did the flip, of course, but if we're talking about T-Core for now, she obviously played a big part in it. Am I pronouncing it wrong? It's T-Core, no? I might just be speaking too fast, but I definitely do know how to pronounce T-Core. T-Core won't understand the significance of being second juror. Yeah. So look, here's the deal. This is me being a little bit arrogant for just a second. Like, T-Core has some talents in Big Brother that I will never have. She is way too good socially, on a different plane than I am. But she's horrible strategically. Like, really, really bad. I think we are viewing T-Core through the lens of the Big Brother 26 cast, which makes her seem like a much better player than she is. And I think the same could be said about Chelsea. The same could be said about Cam. I think T-Core on Big Brother 25 would be more similar to Mimi than she would be to Suri or Matt or someone like that, right? Like, that's honestly what I think. I think you have to, like, try to zoom out from the current season and just try to evaluate what we've seen from them as players. And I think T-Core and Mimi are very similar, like extremely similar, except what if Mimi had two people who loved her? I think T-Core is probably a little bit better socially, which helps, but I do think Mimi is better strategically. So it's kind of like, I don't think T-Core would be in my top 5 players from Big Brother 25. I think Chelsea's knocking on the door to top 5, but it's just like, Chelsea is just self-destructing. It's so weird. All she has to do is chill, and she's going to be in such a good spot. Like, such a good spot. And Chelsea just, for no reason, is blowing up her position. It's crazy. Like, if she wasn't beefing with Cam this week and just locked Cam in and kept T-Core, how the fuck does Chelsea lose this game? I definitely understand, like, the actual reason, but game-wise, it's insane. Now, here's the thing. It puts Cam in a position where if Cam gets rid of T-Core, which I don't know if he will, but if he does, it's his choice, basically. I don't see how Cam loses. Because Chelsea still needs Cam in that world. MJ is with Cam. Cam's good with Leah. Cam's going to be the vote to have kept Rabina. Like, this is a pivotal vote for Cam. If Cam fucks this up, his game, like, he's going from the best player in the game if he gets rid of T-Core to, like, middle of the fucking pack if he gets rid of Rabina. Chelsea and Cam have 80% win equity. I'm not sure. Here's the thing. I would agree. Fuck, the green screen's already bugging out. Whatever. I would agree. My disagreement lies in the fact that Angela's there. Angela being there makes things so difficult because that gives everybody else more win equity. Because they don't, like, if Angela's not there, MJ kind of has to take Cam or Chelsea. Cam or Chelsea have to take each other, you know what I mean? But because they have Angela, they all have incentive to cut each other. And it's kind of dangerous to bring Chemo that far, or Rabina, because they're going to have so many locked-in jury votes. Like, I think Chemo is not drawing dead in the jury at all. If Chemo gets to the final two, he's going to have T-Core, he's going to have Rabina, he's going to have maybe even Quinn really looks up to Chemo. Angela loves Chemo. Like, I'm extremely critical of Chemo's game, but Chemo has votes. His, like, jury possibilities are pretty good. No way Quinn votes for Chemo. I look against who? Leah losing votes. I don't think Leah's losing votes. I think Leah never had votes. But Leah's also not a good player, so I don't think people, like, have to vote for her. Here's what I will say, like, when you're still in the game and you're starting to weaponize your jury vote, it's already over, is the way I view it. Like, it's a strategy of, if you vote me out, I'm not going to give you my vote. That is like, you're so out of ideas, you have nothing else to do. And it seems like T-Core is just trying to, like, wield the power of being in a trio in jury. It's like, T-Core, you don't have to go to jury. You could win this thing. Like, what do you... And I guess she was just frustrated. I get that. And we could talk about the good people thing a little bit, because I tweeted about this. I've been spamming the... Okay, let's do our call to action, first of all. Everyone, where does this even take you? Yeah, it takes you to the podcast. Everyone, please follow the podcast. Pin that. Everyone, follow the podcast. We're trying to push America to number 1. Is she still at 11? I haven't checked in a while. Where's she at? $11. We got to get top 10. This is a travesty. An absolute travesty. Podcast is great. Oh, yeah. Demi's so funny. And America's America. But come on. Let's do it. 260 people. That'll get us into 10th. I believe it. I think people are being too hard on T-Core. Yeah. Look, I don't think the good people thing... I think here's I think what people miss. When Matt and Jag and Bowie were talking about like themselves being the good people, the way they often did it was by putting down other people. Matt, obviously the worst of the three by a large margin. And I think they've certainly talked about Leah as being like a sneaky player and cutthroat and not like... I think there's a different tone to it. It doesn't feel as personal or fueled by misogyny, or you could definitely argue undertones. Like I hear that, but I don't think it's the same. It doesn't hit the same to me. Maybe it's because one of them is talking about America, one's talking about Leah, and I'm dating America. But yeah, 5-star review, blow it up. But this tweet I thought was good. I think Jag's like wearing my hoodie too. I don't know where the fuck you got this from. They've talked a lot of shit about Angela for weeks. I think there might be more to the Angela story than we know, if that makes sense. Like, remember the feeds were cutting a ton those early weeks, and I think T-Core probably never... It seems like the second after Angela did the whole... Look at those 3 people working together in the backyard and talking about all the Black House guests... I think she's been out on Angela, which I think is her prerogative. Did T-Core watch any seasons? Why did she think good? T-Core is a full-blown recruit. I think people just don't view her that way because she's not the typical archetype for a recruit. Usually it's like the Texas A&M blonde cheerleader. And she seems like someone who would apply, but no, she's a recruit. As far as I know. No confirmations, but I assume. It definitely seems that way. That's what I'm referring to, Alejandra. Yeah. There's something they can't talk about, so I'm reserving my judgment for the Angela shit talk, but we'll see. Look, I think the T-Core calculation is very simple. I think she hasn't faced adversity in the game. She just hasn't. Like, she's never been on the block. Her trio has never left. She's never lost a really close ally, unless you want to say Tucker, but she nominated him. And now she's facing adversity, and we haven't seen her deal with adversity. You know who was the best player for the first 4 weeks of the game? Until that fateful Thursday where Cedric was evicted? Best player of the season. Not close. It was Brooklyn. Exactly, Canvas. And then the second Brooklyn hits a tiny bit of adversity, it's made clear to us that she's not a good player. Or she's not as good as we assumed. It's a lesson that I learned in Big Brother. Like, I think my biggest takeaway, like game-wise, from the entire experience was playing from a bad position, playing against the current with adversity, is so fucking hard. And playing from the top, playing from a good position, is pretty easy. When you're T-Core and you're really likable and all your allies are in the house and you're getting these different HOHs in a row, Tucker's winning and then you're winning, it's very easy. But when you're getting Leah as HOH, your allies on the block, It's really hard. Now, I think I'm a strange example where I am like really bad at playing from the top, and I'm like best at playing from like a mediocre position. A bad position's bad. It's hard to do that. But I'm pretty good at playing that like in a medium position, trying to get better. Like that's my sweet spot. Cory is definitely a play from the top kind of player. 100%. And she's not at the top, you know? She got a bad outcome this week. Bad veto outcome. And look, people criticize the trio for their good people thing, and I think that's worthy of criticism. But you know what their biggest crime is? This trio. What is their biggest crime? The worst thing they've done all season? BB25 should have taught you this. Passivity, active, not campaigning. These are all real. You guys are making good points, but not. Oh, Katie got it. Losing a competition. They all are really bad at competitions. Rabina's the best, and Rabina's not very good. You can't be getting washed by Leah and Angela. You just can't. You can't be getting beat by Chelsea every time. You can't be a trio, and all three of you are bad. And I don't want this to seem like I'm being mean to them. I was in a duo, and both of us were very bad at competitions, and that is why we got evicted. Should never have gotten rid of Tucker. Look, I agree, especially for like Rabina. I think Cory getting rid of Tucker there would have been fine if she was the one who did it. Because if you let Tucker get this far, I'm not convinced Tucker doesn't win every competition and wins the game. It's a really tough balance. Because we could all very easily be pointing and laughing, being, you idiots, you let Tucker get to the final 8, and then he wins out, which I think would be more than likely at this point. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't like Michael. So the difference between Michael and Tucker is Michael had stronger competitors to compete against. Monty and Taylor were real competitors. Kyle, when he was there, was a real competitor. Brittany was winning vetoes. Like, you know, that was a more competitive cast. Turner won a ton of comps. This season, Tucker consistently beat every one of these people except for MJ in that one AI arena, which I think we all can admit was fluky. You know, MJ did great. I don't even know if Tucker beats her if he was doing it as fast as he could. But obviously, you know, it was a fluky arena. Tucker will always be vulnerable during a double. People always say that. It's the opposite. He is the opposite of vulnerable during a double. During a double, he's almost immune. Because he gets whatever chance at an HOH, and then he gets a ball pit. And Cam could beat him, sure. MJ, you know. But you'd have to bet on Tucker in that spot. I think people always talk about that. Like, we get out the big threat during the double. Unless they're bad at comps, I don't like that plan. I really don't. Like, I was able to get Jared out during the double, but I wouldn't have been able to if we didn't get Matt and Jag in that veto. Like, even targeting Jared in that spot is really, you know, dangerous. They needed to ride him for compability. I agree. Look, I think keeping Cook Tucker for a few more weeks seemed like the right play, but I'm just saying it's a lot of hindsight bias, confirmation bias. We don't know how Tucker would have done in these comps. Double is good for taking out campaigners? Yeah. I mean, sure. It was great to get rid of Jared that week because it doesn't give Suri time to work. You know what I mean? Jury battle back, then triple eviction. Yeah. Rabina could have weaponized Tucker. All right. Can we have a serious conversation? Can we everyone lean into your computers? We have to have a real chat. We need to stop treating players like people they're not. Rabina's not weaponizing anybody. Rabina is so bad at Big Brother. Chemo is so bad at Big Brother. Cory is so bad at Big Brother. Leah is so bad at Big Brother. MJ is like everyone's terrible. And like Chelsea is the best player this season, and I don't think Chelsea's a good player. I just don't. Okay, I disagree with that, Desi. I think Rabina's fine casting. Like I don't dislike her. There's been so many people who are problematic and doing all this goofy shit. She's not that. Do you hear the feedback on your mic? Is it bad? I'll make it lower. I don't think Leah is terrible. I think she's terrible. I think she is. I think it's hard to make the case she's not. Like, she totally fucked up noms here. And if she gets T-Core out, I think you could call it like a slight victory. I think now people are looking at Leah's move as better than it was because of the turn of events with MJ, Cam, and Chelsea. But we have a big sample size with Leah. Like, she has talents in the game. She's got a lot of comp ability, seemingly, which is good. But she's not good. I mean, she put up Quinn. Or sorry, she used the veto, which got Joseph evicted, all to keep Angela. And then Angela's the reason Quinn got, like, she blew up her spot, and then she won this HOH. And I think she fucked up her HOH. And it might work out okay. The best player out of everyone from BB26. I think it's Brooklyn or Chelsea. I would probably say Chelsea, but I think Brooklyn would be my number 2. I don't think Brooklyn dealt with adversity well, but I've seen worse. Zombie Week or Janky World? Janky World is so much better than Zombie Week. It's not close. I don't think I would hate the being outside 24/7 thing. Granted, on our season it was cooler because we had a later season. But I don't think I would mind the outside that much. It'd be fine. I think Zombie Week is, like, everyone knows Zombie Week's the worst twist, but Chelsea misting Leah when she low-key despises her to be safe this week. Look, here's my question. We saw all of this Chelsea, Cam, MJ drama. Based on what we've seen, do you think Chelsea, Cam, any of them, are any closer to targeting each other? Chelsea, Cam, or MJ? Or is this just high school drama? They'll all be fine. They still want to work together. I feel the same way. Everyone's saying no. I feel the same way. So, like, I think that's why people are, like, looking retroactively at Leah's move, being like, well, Leah's move's actually good because one trio is locked in together and the other trio is fighting. I don't think it matters that much. I can't stress it enough, though. Like, right now, in this very moment, Cam has the option to put himself in the dominant winning position. A strong winning position that's almost hard to imagine how it goes any other way. And I don't know if he's going to do it, but he needs to. He needs to vote out T-Core so desperately. And I don't know if he sees the game clear enough. Cam's not good at comps. Putting comps aside, like, comps are important, but just think about it this way. We get rid of T-Core. It's Cam, MJ, Angela are the votes, 3-2. After this, you have Chemo and Rabina. You just saved Rabina. You were 3 of the votes to save Rabina. That's amazing. You'd imagine Rabina would be like, okay, what the fuck, Chelsea? Who knows if that actually happens, but you'd imagine. And Cam has a pretty good relationship with Rabina. Then you have Chelsea, who just lost T-Core, and she needs Cam. She doesn't have other options. Then you have Leah, who really likes Cam. It feels like Leah and Cam is like Leah's tightest ally outside of Angela. Then you have MJ, who's kind of in this low-key showmance with Cam. All of this changes if you keep T-Core, and that gives Chelsea another option. And all of a sudden, T-Core is a real option with the trio out of the house, with Rabina out. You just fucked Leah over. Leah wants T-Core out, and you're not voting her out. That's not good. You still have a path, but it's a much worse path. T-Core has a lot of options other than you. She still has Chemo in the house. She still has Chelsea. You're overestimating the cast's ability to think strategically. Look, I think Cam's logic doesn't have to be that complicated. It could be Tikor is a much better player and is more social than Rabina. That's all he needs to do. That's all the math. Everything else will just happen around him. I think Cam views Tikor as an asset to him, which I understand, but he has to understand that the asset that she is to Chelsea is so much more damaging for his game than anything else. Tikor already put him up. Like, you're not being prioritized at all. Leah could easily flip him if she tells Tikor wanting Cam as the target. Did Tikor say that to Leah? Because I'm pretty sure Tikor was saying, why not Cam as the replacement nom? And I assume the assumption there is Cam would be the target. So, like, it wouldn't be a proactive lie. It's just Leah. Like, again, it's just so frustrating because there's so many different ways this could happen. But we have to rely on these players who won't be able to do it. I just don't believe Cam or Leah or MJ or Angela could get this done. Now, here's the somewhat concern. Chelsea has made it abundantly clear to MJ and to Cam that she's willing to do votes without their consent, without their permission. Will Cam look for Chelsea's permission? After all this MJ stuff? Maybe not. MJ's down, we know that. But if Cam goes to Chelsea, Chelsea's going to fight to shut this down. Well, I don't even know if that's true. Like, I think Chelsea obviously is very incentivized to fight for Tikor. But I don't... Look, the Chelsea Tikor thing has been a really interesting thing to follow all this season. Thank you, Chiara, for the gift. I appreciate you. T-Wise. The Chelsea Tikor thing is so interesting to track because we talk about them as a duo in some regards, but they don't have any strategic relationship really outside of covering each other, and it feels like Tikor is covering Chelsea's back 10 times more than Chelsea's covering Tikor's back. So I'm not even certain that Chelsea would die on this hill of keeping Tikor. I hear you, Birds, but I think Chelsea needs Tikor as a legitimate option. Tikor without the trio, with only one of them, all of a sudden Chelsea's probably Tikor's number 2 instead of her number 3, which is a huge difference when we're at the final 7. Is Chemo guaranteed keeping Tikor? Yeah, I was thinking about that. It just seems likely. I will say if Rabina falls on her sword and says, you can vote me out, I think that would hurt Tikor. I think that'd be more likely that Tikor goes. Because I tweeted about this. I'll pull it up because people were giving me shit. And I think somewhat rightfully. Like, I get what they were saying, but let me pull up the tweet. I said this. I like Leah potentially taking a shot, but Tikor is the wrong target. I bet Chelsea's trio views Leah as a bigger threat than Chemo and Rabina combined. If you get rid of Chelsea, then the trio still has to target Cam and MJ, and those two have to deal with the trio. So this is... We're past this point, but everyone was saying this. Tikor isn't even the target. She expects Rabina will go home, which is an utter waste. And then this is what I said. And I think this is the point. I don't know. At this point in the game, massive threats on the block on eviction night, go home. Not certain as to Leah's intentions, but that would be the outcome regardless of how the votes may look right now. We're at the final 8. When you have someone on the block who is like consensus viewed one of the biggest jury threats, one of the biggest targets, one of the biggest, best players of the season, they go home. They just go home. And if Tikor doesn't go home, it's either a testament to how good socially she is or how bad strategically everyone else is, except for Chelsea and Chemo. And let's be real, for Chemo, is it good to keep Tikor? maybe. I think the whole benefit of keeping T-Core for Chemo is Chemo probably survives the block against T-Core, but Chemo probably wants to get to the end with T-Core, so Rabina would be a better person. I think it's an interesting question, what's better for Chemo, but I don't think he's going to weigh any of these options, so why even talk about it? I feel like Rabina has a better shot to win comps. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look, we're approaching the final 7. At the final 7, they did Demented Dentist our season. And we know the final 6 is going to be a double, or we assume, and that'll be a quiz. So, you know, it's hard to say. I mean, I think Rabina's biggest strength as a competitor would fall in her endurance competition ability, and we just did that. So I don't think it's that big of a decision. Chemo has no winning game, so it doesn't matter. I am very low on Chemo, and I do think he has win equity. I think he actually has win equity. TBH. Chemo's dangerous in a quiz comp. I think everyone is equally dangerous in a quiz comp, unless you're terrible. Like, Jag was really bad at those. Suri was really bad at them, except for one. But quiz comps are more crapshooty than I think we are willing to admit. It's not like physical comps are favor physical people and mental comps favor smart people. It's not that. Against who, though? Lola, let's do the math. Chemo against anyone other than the trio, other than T-Core and Rabina. He has T-Core and Rabina. Angela loves Chemo. She does. Quinn loves Chemo. He does. Do people have animosity towards Leah? Maybe. Do people not respect MJ's game? Maybe. There's people... He can get a lot of votes no matter what. Like, Chemo's not going to get shut out. And these juries are somewhat unpredictable. And if Chemo makes it to the end, I'm assuming he's, winning some competitions, voting some people out. I'm going to ask you guys a rhetorical question. You guys know the answer. What is the most important factor when someone's determining who they're going to vote for at the end? What's the most important factor? Thank you, JPR, for the gift. I appreciate you. JPR, what do the numbers mean in your username? Do they like you? Who they like the most? That's it. That's it. And then the rest of it doesn't matter as much. There's some exceptions, of course. But I don't think whoever's sitting next to Chemo is going to have played a much better game than Chemo because no one has played a really good game. No one. Rich Tapestry, yeah. Not being a liar is a big factor, of course. Quinn would have won. That was the whole thing with Quinn. That's the thing with me. If Quinn got to the end, if I got to the end, I would have won any jury vote. So would have Quinn. For slightly different reasons, but when you're viewed as this, sneaky schemer who everyone's out to get, and you get to the end, you have to vote for that person. The problem is you're never going to make it to the end. But what happens during that hour-and-a-half episode next Wednesday? So I don't understand. Is it an hour... I think that longer extended episode, I'm pretty sure all that means is they're adding, the veto episode stuff into it, so it's not anything special. I think we're probably done with twists, honestly. We're going to have a double at the final 6, I assume, but... Would Jag be a better winner than anyone who wins this season? No. I think Chelsea would be better than Jag. I think you could argue Cam. I think you could argue T-Core, maybe. Definitely not Angela. All right, let's talk about Angela for a second. Let's talk about Angela. Y'all on Twitter are full of shit about voting for Angela. If I was in the house, Angela would be the last person I ever considered voting for. The last person. Angela is terrible at the game. I don't care how bad you think Rabina or any... Angela's the worst. By far. Her game is super unintentional. She blows up every good alliance she's in. She's being dragged to the end of the game. The vetoes being used on her have nothing to do with Angela. She's playing the game, though. She's trying. That's your argument? Okay, look, she's trying. She's terrible. Petty and bitter people exist. This cast doesn't strike me as super petty and bitter outside of the trio, but the trio, T-Core is not voting for Angela, I'll tell you that much. T-Core would vote for Leah before Angela. She can win comps unlike other people. She's done great in competitions, and you give her credit for that. But her argument at the end can't be I'm a comp beast. Why don't you like older women? Angela's the third or fourth player. Lex, it's one of the most delusional things I've read in chat ever. Angela is, we can't forget the first 8 weeks of Big Brother that we watched. Angela is terrible. So bad. We're forgetting, just viewing the TV show, all these Angela segments. She's inventing new ways to be terrible. And I think this is why she's amazing casting. She only had 2 bad weeks at the beginning. That is pure delusion, Outback. Pure delusion. Leah, Chemo, and Robina are all leagues better players than Angela. It's not close. Angela's Felicia. And if you think Felicia's Felicia's a better player than Angela. So whatever you think of Felicia's game ability, if you guys are really high on Felicia as well, then at least you're consistent. You know what I mean? She's delusional, but not bad. Do you guys not see how these two things would interact? These two adjectives? Look, I like Angela. I love that she's self-interested. I love that she's trying to manufacture the best endgame for her. That's great. But she has so many really glaring shortcomings that these other house guys don't even get close to having. I feel like there's a lot of participation trophies being handed out this season. And I can just say, as someone who was in that house, no one would ever have voted for Felicia because everyone perceived Felicia as being dragged to the end of the game. You could argue the difference with Angela is she's winning some competitions from time to time, but she's also been on the block a billion times because everyone knows she's the easy pawn because she's a social pariah. I think people overstate the ability of jurors to campaign to other jurors. I think people are very strong in their beliefs about who they want to vote for. But I do think there's going to be conversations that happen. Honestly, I think people have the wrong idea when it comes to the jury. People always have this belief that the foreman of the jury, that first person there, is the one who gets to set the tone. The most influential jurors are the ones who come in later. Final 6, final 7, those kinds of people. Because those are the people who get to tell you what happened in the game and shape the narrative their way. If you come in at the final 9, you have no authority to speak on anything. Because everyone else knows more about the game than you. They were there for those weeks. So Blue and America coming in with all this new information, Suri coming in with all this information, is way more valuable and important and influential than me or Cameron just saying our opinions over and over again. Who do I see in the final 2? Honestly, I could see someone beating Chemo or Cam and MJ maybe. I could see Cam, Chemo, Cam, Angela, MJ, Angela, something like that. I think Chemo or Angela is going to be in there. That's what I feel. And Cam and MJ, I think, is a low-key, real possibility. No, I agree, Nicholas. I agree. But I think, using anger towards a player as a reason to say their game is worse, Angela's there for the right reasons, and she's terrible. These are both things. Cam, MJ, Cam wins? I think so. I would imagine. But look, here's the thing. Look, this is a factor that I don't know how much I want to talk about because we have no idea if it's a real possibility or if I'm just talking out of my ass. Is there the idea that any guy against a girl in the like? Okay, let's just say Cam. If Cam is against any woman in the final two, be it Chelsea, be it MJ, that the girls they've been talking a lot about making a woman win the season. I think that's a huge possibility in Cam versus MJ specifically. I think the women just vote for them. I think maybe it's different against Leah because the women don't view Leah as one of like the girls, which is stupid as shit. I understand that, but thank you, Maddie, for the prime. I appreciate you. I think MJ has a real shot against Cam. Yeah, I think the women angle is really valuable. Has Cam done anything? I think Cam probably has the best social game on the cast, top two at least. Probably second to Cory. Strategically, he's not done much, but he's been in the right groups. He's been a likable guy who's made it far. You don't got to do too much to win Big Brother. I think the amount of players in this cast who have done something, it's very small. Like, Chelsea's done a lot. Angela's done a lot. Leah's starting to build her resume. Chemo's done, he's just inoffensive. He's inoffensive. He's likable. That could be enough. Here's what I'll say. I think if Cam is in the final two, frankly, I would be shocked if Chelsea votes for him. Is that a weird take? I think I feel that pretty strongly. He's Casey coded. Yeah, he's a little worse than Casey, but I agree. I really would be shocked if Chelsea's would vote for Cam, honestly. And I think the reason for that I think the reason for that is when we see Chelsea in her camera talks, she always wants to make it very clear how much she doesn't like Cam, even though it's very vivid to us that she does, right? And I think, with her jury vote, she's not going to do the thing of, oh my God, Cam's flirting with MJ. I'm going to now turn around and vote for this guy. She doesn't want to paint herself in that light as, she was walked all over all season. And now she's going to give him the money. I don't believe it. For 1 minute. She doesn't like Leah even a little bit. Look, here's my prediction. I think Cam is going to lose in the final two if he's against any woman other than maybe Leah or Angela. Even Leah. I think Leah could get those votes. And I don't think it's he's done terrible jury management, but he hasn't done enough to earn the jury vote. So it's not a bitter jury or it was out of his hands or anything. Most of the jury hated Taylor too. Yeah, I mean, the Taylor thing is interesting. I think everyone's got their theories about why that vote turned out the way it did. I could not tell you the truth of it. I have no idea. But I think it's my general rule is don't use Taylor as an example of anything because she's such an anomaly. She's such an anomaly, and using her as a data point, it's just her speech was amazing, and it impacted nothing, I assume. Her speech was amazing, though. Probably top 1 or 2 in Big Brother history. Yeah, look, I'm not buying into all the conspiracy theories of they were all trying to vote for Taylor to protect their social media. I don't believe that, but again, she's just it's a weird case to talk about because she's so unique. Angela will have the best speech. I think Angela will have the best speech on paper, but it's going to be very oversaturated. We've seen her give these kinds of speeches so many times. I don't think the impact is going to be there. Maybe it's finale night, so it's Did the vote flip to T Core? Not yet, Scotty. Basically, Cam is the swing vote. Are you guys ready for player rankings? Are you want to do them? Who's ready? Who is ready? Oh my god. All right. There's 8 players remaining. HelloFresh is done. 8 players remaining. Let's go. The first thing we have to look at is the chopping block. Now, first of all, how does the player rankings work? Like what metrics do I use to rank players? Do I just do like a simple who's better at competitions? Is who has the best chance of winning? Who's least likely to get evicted? Like, it's so hard to think about. Like, how do I do this kind of thing? Best person? Rich tapestry. That's right. That is right. It is a rich tapestry, which includes a myriad of factors. Those factors are including, but not limited to, your competition ability, your social game, your strategic game, your win equity, your jury potential, your short-term security, your long-term security. Will production rig things to help you? It's a rich tapestry. This quilt has thousands and thousands of patches, all which add up to create these definitive player rankings. And I want to get something straight. I know a lot of you guys think that I'm the person who creates the player rankings. Is that right? Y'all just assumed that it was me by myself, just sitting at my computer? I'm just curious because I've never been very transparent about this process. Yes. No. So the way that this player rankings is constructed is it's 2-part. It's a complex algorithm that weighs all the different factors considered in the rich tapestry, which of course is an infinite number of factors, but we do the best we can with how far math has progressed at this point in human history. And then also we have a diverse panel of critics and correspondents, researchers who understand the Big Brother game in a way that, frankly, you simpletons, could never understand it. So it's a 2-prong methodology to determine these player rankings. I merely oversee the panel and have, of course, approved the algorithm, which was written by mathematicians. I forget who wrote it. Just Bronte? That's the one. Bronte. She's you guys wouldn't know her. You could just Google her. So, with that being said, I do not want anybody sitting here criticizing my player rankings. By the way, thank you, Maddie, for the Prime. You get the CIA on it? No, it's Sia. You misspelled her. With that being said, who do you all have as the number 8, the worst ranked player of this final 8, most likely to get the Cory placement? See a lot of people saying Angela and Rabina and Angela. Well, coming in at number 8. Is Rabina. Okay. Now, when we consult the rich tapestry, the algorithm, patent pending, short-term security is a big deal. It's one of the most important factors. If you can get evicted in a couple days, that is going to hurt your ranking quite a bit. And right now, as things stand, Rabina is the target, and there are votes for her to be evicted. Now, that's dangerous. That's a huge knock against her. The bigger knock against her, for me, she quit. She's in the process of quitting. It may be more fair. She doesn't care. She's not campaigning. She's kind of falling on her sword. She's proven herself to be a terrible player. She's a nice person, good socially, but she doesn't even have the competition ability to fall back on. I don't think she has amazing jury prospects. She's not drawing dead, but social connections wise, what the fuck does she have either? I guess her best connections outside of the trio is like Cam, but Cam is closer to a lot of other people. There's just nothing good about Rabina's game, and she could be evicted. And that's enough for me to put her at 8. Now, the player rankings will continue soon, but unfortunately there's a massive emergency that is about to go down in the bathroom 3 steps from this room. So
wait, stay like that? He's looking submissive
and breedable. Breedable, submissive and breedable.
You're a naughty, 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 naughty boy. Naughty, naughty boy. Naughty, naughty, naughty boy. You're a naughty, naughty boy.
I like America a lot. Fuck me.
Got you now. Took a while, but I worked you out. Liar, liar, good at it. I look back now and boy, you're full of shame, shame, shame. You left your phone. Your girlfriend rang while you weren't home. Shame, shame, shame. I made her cry. Now she knows.
If there's anything Cory's taught me though, is you gotta think of all the different scenarios. That's true.
Bad boy, told a lie. So I said goodbye. Bad boy, caught you out.
Serious business.
Guys, Cory's lying. I'm telling the truth.
As a society, we too often vote based off emotion, not strategy.
Bad boy, caught you
Okay. Sorry, I had to reconsult the panel. Check the algorithm was working all right. I was very shocked at that Rabina being in 8th spot, but it seems like we're okay. We hold our meetings in the bathroom, yes. Yes. All right, without further ado, we move on to number 7. Did you wash your hands? Of course. You think all that washing hands in the Big Brother house was performative? All right. Congrats on the shit. I don't shit. I haven't shit since my surgery. This leads us to number 7. Number 7. Who do you think I have ranked as the second worst player remaining? Number 7. Are they still on the chopping block, or are we moving to the player rankings? Who could say? Angela, Tikor, Angela, Tikor, Chemo, Angela. A lot of Angelas. And number 7. I have Chemo. The math for Chemo is quite simple. Well, I think it's more complicated than Rabina's. Short-term security is there. He's not going to get evicted this week. That's huge. After Tikor or Rabina's gone, you'd imagine he's still not really in danger next week. He's not a big target. Not being part of a trio helps him immensely. That's good. He has a good social game. People like Chemo. He doesn't have a super tight web of relationships, but people like him, which means, for me, I think he has a decent chance in front of a jury. Not a great chance, but a decent chance. Now, why do I have him ranked so low? Well, he doesn't play the game, really. He kind of quit. He thought he was going to get evicted at the final 10 next to Joseph, and he didn't get evicted, and now he's just kind of sleepwalking through the game. I don't think he's going to have the respect of many of his jurors. If they vote for him, it's going to be because just they like him. He's proven himself to be a ridiculously passive player. And I think next to Angela, he's probably the person most likely to be dragged to the end as opposed to, being taken to the end or getting to the end themselves. He doesn't have any competition ability. Frankly, I would bet on him last to win any given competition. I think that has to be the case, right? Like, Angela has proven herself enough in these quizzes. And Chemo is just so bad physically. Like, he doesn't have anything. I don't think Angela's being dragged to the end. She's won more comps than most of the cast. I mean taken to the end as a GOAT. She's earning her way to the end, but I think if she's brought to the end, it'll be as a GOAT, and that is why a lot of people are comfortable with her still being in the house. He at least had the veto played on him. Yeah, look, it's a very weird season, because the veto's been used every time, famously. How many times is that because the person on the block runs a good campaign or convinces the veto holder? All these people win the veto, and whether it is in their self-interest or not, just choose to use the veto or don't. You know what I mean? Like, the same way I don't give Angela a ton of credit for getting the veto used on her so many times, I'm not going to give Chemo the credit. I'd give Angela credit for having Leah use it on her. I think that was good work. And I'd give Chemo some credit for getting Angela to use it on her. But again, I don't know if it's that serious. The math on Chemo is simple. He doesn't have competition ability. He doesn't have strong social bonds. He has not proven himself to be an active enough player to better his position. He's going to survive this week. He may survive next week. It's hard to imagine a world where he gets to the end. He might be in that weird spot where he's like not good enough to get himself to the end, but just a little too dangerous to drag to the end, and he's just going to end up in 5th or 4th or 6th or something like that. Even amongst his trio of Tikor, Chemo, and Rabina, he's on the bottom. I think Tikor and Rabina are closer to each other than they are to Chemo at this point. Definitely, from Rabina's perspective. I think from Tikor's as well. So, that takes us to number 6. I think a lot of people are going to be predicting Angela, but do you think it's a clean sweep for the trio? Am I weirdly low on Chelsea's game? Am I low on Leah? Like, who's going to be number 6? What do you all think? That's my question. Angela, T-Core, Angela, woohoo! You did it, chat. Que bueno. Here's the problem with Angela. I still struggle to see the win equity. I do not think the jury is going to respect her, and I think that's for pretty fair reason. Whether it's some stuff she said at the first half of the season. Like, you know what I saw as a red flag? A bit of a red flag for me was Quinn is asked in his exit interviews, what's your biggest regret? And it was not standing up more for Lisa. I think that kind of says it all. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think perception of Angela is positive whatsoever. I think people, to Angela's face, talk about how much they respect her fight and everything, and I think that is them stroking her ego. Which is sad because Angela's playing a much better game than Cam. Benry, I'm going to ban you. If I see one more stupid-ass Angela take, I'm going to start going crazy. I can't do it. I can't. Angela had 1 week of okay gameplay, and everyone has decided Angela's playing a good game, actually. The first 8 weeks did not happen. In fact, her blowing up on night 2 didn't happen. Her blowing up every alliance she's been involved with did not happen. You're biased because of the Cedric game room. I like Cedric a lot. I cannot express how little Cedric's Big Brother opinions influence mine. With all due respect to Cedric. You know what I mean? Like, I really do like Cedric. But I think it's understandable that I don't take his Big Brother opinions particularly seriously. Which is fine. It's just the most ridiculous, aggressive recency bias I've ever seen. Like, Angela has been horrible all season. This week, I like how she's played. I think she's bettering her position. I'm a fan. I think she's great casting. I like the way she's playing more than a lot of people, but that doesn't change who she is. Angela going on a comp run, I'd love to see it. Yeah, chill. Like, I appreciate the fan fiction you're writing, and Cedric talked about this too, of like, she goes to the final 2 and is like, I was faking being a bad player. This is all just a ploy to get to the end. I actually did this, this, and this. I'm just going to tell you this much. If I was in the jury and Felicia was like, I actually pretended to be a terrible player the whole time to get to the final 2, I would say, yeah, my ass. Like, really? Like, that's what you expect me to believe? Now, if Felicia was next to Matt and Matt gave the speech Matt gave, maybe, but people always talk about that. The problem is Matt would not have given that bad of a speech against anyone but Jag because his questions would have been easier and, you know, it all would have been easier. But there's no win equity for Angela. And I do agree with Maddie. Someone said if Josh can win, Angela could win. Look, I think Angela can win. I think it's possible. I think Angela makes it to the end against someone like Chemo or someone like Cam. I think it's a possibility that all the women vote together and vote for Angela. Like, I think it's possible. But I don't think she's ever going to get Quinn's vote. I don't think she's ever going to get Leah's vote. I don't think she's ever going to get Chelsea's vote. It's a lot of votes that are hard to get. A lot of them. So, let's move on to number 5. Are we still on the chopping block? Are we moving over to the player rankings? Who's number 5? It's a tough question. Nicholas predicts T-Core. T-Core. Leah, Cam, Leah, T-Core. Well, and number 5. I have T-Core. Look, short-term security is a big deal, and I think right now I would give her a 40 to 45% chance of being evicted tomorrow or 2 days from now. It's problematic. That's not a good spot to be in. I hate to, I don't know what to say. It's not good. It's just not good. Rabina throwing T-Core under the bus on feeds. I gotta see this. To who? Oh, to Angela? Let me lock in. Oh, fishes. Fishes are back. T-Core has no short-term security. She might get evicted. She has no comp ability, which is very dangerous in this end game when you know you're being a threat. She's, at best, losing one of her 2 closest allies this week. She doesn't have a good strategic sense of the game. Everyone knows they can't bring her to the end, and she's unlikely to bring herself to the end. The benefit for T-Core is Chelsea's going to become much more of a real option to her. Chelsea is going to have to rely on T-Core. She's still going to have chemo in the game, which is valuable. And if she gets a good HOH outcome, she's got a good shot. She still has as great a shot in jury as anyone else. All right, let me see what's going on with these feeds. I think the big problem with Rabina, like Rabina doesn't need to convince Angela, right? Rabina needs to convince Cam. I'm more interested in this Leah MJ Cam conversation. She just told Angela there's no convincing Cam. Well, I hate to break it to her, but what else is her plan? Chemo? Angela telling Rabina to talk to chemo? Yeah, look, I don't think you should rule out chemo. Rabina and chemo are close, but Angela can't. I mean, maybe Angela thinks she has leverage over chemo because she used the veto, but that's not how Big Brother works. But it's BB26. The rules are different. I think MJ is doing a good job on Cam. Calling someone a female is good work. I'm sorry, where's Chelsea? Chelsea has to get in one of these conversations. She's in the DR? Damn, that is brutal. Yeah, I do agree, Benry. I think we overstate. Like, I don't think Chelsea has as much of a stake in T-Core staying as she should. She should really be desperate to keep T-Core, but I'm not certain that's happening. If Angela can convince people to vote out T-Core, do you think she's a good player? Look, I can't express this enough, Lex. There's not one thing Angela can do this week to convince me she's a good player. There's not a single, like, and there's a lot of game left to be played. If she plays a masterful endgame, I reserve the right to react differently to new information. But we have a lot of data so far, Lex. A lot of it. And it all points in one direction. Why do the players think it's a double this week? because they haven't had one yet, and it feels like if I'm them, I know it's not a double because where the fuck would the double take place? Y'all. Use your noggins. Come on, like, you think they're going to do the double inside? What do you mean if she's playing a masterful game? She is playing a masterful endgame. It's the final 8. We're not even in the endgame yet. We're not even in the endgame. We're in the middle game. We're not in the endgame. She had 1 good week out of 9. 8 of them are like some of the most terrible Big Brother we've ever seen throughout the history of the show. Did I make it to Big Brother 25's endgame? Did I make it? Can I say I was in the endgame? Because I made it to the final 8. Yeah, people always say Cory has a really good endgame. No, they don't, Jerry. Endgame is not top 4. I'd say endgame is like final 6 on feels like the endgame to me. Final 7's the edge of it. And it's so funny because I like Angela a lot. America was in the endgame. Yeah, I mean, I think for BB25 it was the final 7. Like whenever you have that double eviction at the final 6, you know, I think the final 7's kind of the endgame at that point. Final 5 is like end game. You there for 80 days? It's just weird to say like Blue was not in the end game and America was. I'm sure you guys would like that, but when they were evicted 30 minutes apart, you know what I mean? It feels a little bit goofy. Are they making any progress on Cam? It doesn't feel like it. Look, regardless of how bad Ravina's campaigning, I appreciate her campaigning against T-Core. That's exceeding my expectations. Who's number 4? Good question. Well, I can't spoil this to you. The chopping block is done. We now move on to the player rankings. We have Chelsea, we have Cam, we have MJ, we have Leah. A full trio in Leah. Who do you guys think I have at number 4? Leah. I think Leah made the wrong move this week. I think she made the wrong move. I think she should have targeted Chelsea. She didn't target Chelsea. She targeted T-Core, or she's targeting T-Core at least, which is okay. If she gets T-Core out, it's a pretty successful week. I still think people are going to view her as a bigger threat than Chemo and Ravina combined. But I think she's done a lot for her resume this week. That's good. She's clearly proven herself to be one of the better competitors remaining in the game. That's good. Is it just me, or has Leah, like, re-solidified her relationship with MJ? Right now, like, who's MJ's number 1 ally? Cam? Who's number 2? It feels like she's, like, accidentally created a rift between MJ and Chelsea just by virtue of T-Core being on the block. I heard Taryn talk about this, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So I think MJ is a huge, huge connection for Leah. It's probably the best thing she's done this week, getting back on the same page with her, finally. The America and Blue truthers, like, this is your Roman Empire. And, yeah, obviously Chelsea's behaviors turned her off as well. Who does Leah win against? Here's what I'll say. I don't take T-Core's anti-Leah jury speak super seriously. I don't. I think she's heated. I don't know if T-Core would vote for Leah. I would not rule out Chemo and Rabina from voting for Leah. Also, you know how people say, like, oh my God, showmances are always going to vote the same? That's not always true. We saw Haley and Fessy didn't. America and I, if Bowie was in the final two, would not have voted the same. I would have voted for Matt. She would have voted for Bowie. A trio, there's no guarantee they're going to vote the same. T-Core is not going to be deciding who Rabina and Chemo vote for. Absolutely not. And Leah would beat Angela, I believe. If she's against Cam, I think she has a shot. I think Leah has a difficult path to the end. I don't love her jury prospects, but I do like her compatibility. I do like her relationship with MJ. I like her connection with Cam. She obviously has Angela. That's over half the people left in the final 7. I don't know who Cam targets, but I don't think it's Leah. I like Leah's odds. I think she's in a decent spot. This HOH was huge for her. I don't think she took the right shot. She took a reasonable shot, and if it lands, she's in a reasonable spot. Leah has Quinn and Angela locked in as votes. You'd think. You'd think for sure. Cam should get called a DR. It's a bummer. Okay. Who do y'all think I have at number 3? Numero 3. It's just Chelsea's trio left. Chelsea, Cam, and MJ. See, MJ, Cam, Chelsea, Cam, MJ. All right, all 3 of them are options. At number 3, I have MJ. So here, MJ's in a weird spot. I think MJ has actually pretty good jury prospects. She's a pretty strong competitor. My biggest problem with her, I just don't like her social connections as much as I do with Chelsea and Cam. As pivotal as this week is for Cam, it is extremely pivotal for MJ to get rid of T-Core here. Getting rid of T-Core is massive for MJ because it forces Chelsea to work with her again. MJ's new connection with Leah, or the strengthening of the connection with Leah, is huge for her. I think MJ's doing a lot better with Angela than she's ever done before. But if MJ doesn't pull the trigger, or if Cam doesn't pull the trigger, I don't like MJ's endgame here with T-Core in the mix. Because then T-Core has Chemo. Chelsea can go to T-Core and Chemo. Cam, we don't know if he's going to pick MJ or Chelsea. Assuming he votes out Rabina, you'd think Cam would be closer to Chelsea and T-Core than MJ. It seems like he would have sided with her in that sense, at least. This top 3 could be in any order, and a lot of it hinges on what happens this week with this vote. Now, the reason I have MJ behind Cam is MJ is not the one making this decision. MJ can try to convince Cam to get rid of T-Core, but ultimately it's up to Cam. And I don't trust MJ's persuasive ability. I don't think we have any reason to trust that. So, let me go to number 2 so I could get off stream and actually watch the feed so I can update well tomorrow. Number 2, is it Chelsea or Cam? What do you guys think? Because I feel very strongly about this. Chelsea, Cam, Chelsea, Cam, Chelsea. I'll wait for the prediction to end. I'll wait for the prediction. 150,000 points saying Cam is first. 100K saying Chelsea's first. You ended it. Well, number 2 on the player ranking, so I can go watch Cam and Chelsea is... Cam and Leah is Chelsea. Look, here's the deal. It is Cam's choice this week whether he wants to evict T-Core or Rabina. If Cam chooses to evict T-Core, Cam is in the best position. If Cam chooses to evict Rabina, Chelsea's in the best position. Both of them can survive the other outcome, but it gets a lot dicier. And the reason I have Cam as number 1 is because Cam is the one who gets to make the decision. Agency is huge. Cam is the one with agency this week. Will he fuck it up? I don't know. But he's got the choice. Just to restate, if Cam is able to get rid of T-Core, Chelsea has to work with Cam. He has a good relationship with MJ, obviously. He has a good relationship with Leah. Chemo is still a problem, but nothing's perfect at this point in the game. Meanwhile, if you keep T-Core, Chelsea's going to go to T-Core and chemo. It weakens you and MJ a lot. Leah's in trouble all of a sudden. Maybe T-Core prioritizes Cam for another week, but even then, really? You'd think probably T-Core would target, like, Leah first, but I don't think Cam is far behind. But I'm going to... That's the player rankings. I'm going to get off feeds right now so I can watch the feeds. There will be a podcast out today for me in America. That's going to be the Patreon content, so look forward to that. Everyone, please subscribe to America's podcast on RHAP, The America Tells All. She worked so hard on it. Her first episode with Demi, who's like Bachelor royalty. You got to check it out. I appreciate all of you, and I'm going to go watch the feeds. Thank you all for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow on the update. New podcast tonight. I'll see you guys later.